It's the Two Guys with Ugly Shirts review. Hey, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the big show. It's Dustin. Now, Dustin Kensrue, how do you pronounce your last name?
I say it as if there's a Z instead of an S. Kensrue.
Okay. Kensrue.
Nice.
Okay, all right.
It's your name. You can say it however you want.
That's how we say it.
Hey, listen, I have to start by saying congratulations to Be Everywhere is to Be Nowhere is absolutely one of my favorite albums of the year.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to say, I've never heard of this band, but I hear they're okay. Tis not the case.
It's
man.
not the case.
Now, listen, we spent the weekend brewing, making wine, crushing grapes this weekend in this guy's garage.
Oh.
And listening to
hopefully.
some of the old, Orange County post-punk stuff, and I'm going, wait, who is this?
Yeah.
And he goes, well, this is Thrice. And I said, no. Tell us about the evolution of your sound, because it definitely is different now compared to, like 5-10 years ago, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, we're coming up on 20 years next year, which is crazy. So, yeah, a lot of things changed through 20 years. We started off just kind of, initially we were trying to mix some of the, like, West Coast new school punk with some of the, like, East Coast hardcore stuff we were into, and then mixing that with, like, Iron Maiden. And
Very cool.
That was kind of the roots, and then quickly we started trying to just mix in everything that we liked and listened to, and that was expanding all the time. And so I mean, it's gone. Oh, look at you!
Yeah, I knew I bought this beer for a reason today, and then Andy brought out the Brother
I brought
Thelonious.
out the Brother Thelonious because, that's how I am. I didn't know he had beer.
So it was just kind of a natural progression then, a natural metamorphosis and refinement of the sound, or?
Yeah, we get bored of doing the same thing, so we're always pushing ourselves, and it changes whatever is inspiring us from at different points. A lot of times we're reacting to what we did before, not that we thought it was bad, but we're just like, all right, something different.
Okay.
So we did the Alchemy Index, which was this super involved, layered, 24-song beast of a thing. And the next thing we did was just stripped down. There was, literally just whatever was being played had to be able to be played live. It was one guitar track each, and super, super stripped back kind of sounding record. And so we do a lot of that. This record, I think, sounds a lot of the way it does because we took a break and came back and weren't really reacting to the last thing we'd done. And it let us, I think, pull in a really natural way from a lot of the stuff that we've done across a couple records, and bringing in the stuff that we're interested in right now.
Okay. Well, let's get right into it. The album, To Be Everywhere is to Be Nowhere.
To be everywhere is to be nowhere. I like it.
Two Dudes Reviews, and the kickoff song is Hurricane. Let's take a quick listen. Wow, the emotion just oozes out of this track here, man. And I have to tell you, my wife cranks this song up every time we play it, and she always screws up the lyrics. I really want to give her a lyric sheet. It goes like this,
It's
man.
kind of a prophetic song, considering what's happened in the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks. What inspired this song?
I'm going to say, are you a fortune teller?
No, I don't think so. It came like musically or lyrically. What do you?
Lyrically, I would say.
Lyrics, yeah.
Okay. It's using this idea of the storm kind of hitting out of nowhere as a metaphor for the way that life seems to move. Or at least my life, but I feel like everyone's life is. You're in these moments that just seem like finally everything. Hey, everything is really great right now, and it's perfect. And then out of the blue, your life's just kind of train wrecked and blown over and whatever. And yeah, so whether it's relationally or a literal hurricane is.
Now, let me ask you,
whatever. But
Dustin, do you get inspired when you're looking at song lyrics more by just life experiences, or are you politically motivated? Or I know a lot of just looking at your history a little bit. You've got some scripture in tattoo form somewhere on your body, correct?
Yeah, I've got a little bit on my wrist here. I'm inspired by my personality. Just likes to grapple with bigger questions, and I'm not very good at small talk.
Straight to the point.
I like talking if it's about something that's like interesting, and
sure.
Same way I guess with songwriting. So I'm always kind of so that could be something that's kind of heavy relationally or metaphysically or politically. I'm kind of always just looking for something deep to dive into, I guess.
Right. Interesting. I'm trying to see if I can get my picture back here.
What'd you do, Jay?
I didn't do anything,
Stop pushing
man.
buttons, man.
There. It's back.
Okay.
Damn it, Jim.
Remember, you said you were a tech-tard.
Yeah, I know. Well.
All right, cool.
And there's a lot of angst on this record, too. I was looking over the lyrics to Blood on the Sand going, wow, you're angry. It's almost like art imitates life. What's the old saying?
That was it.
Is that it?
You nailed it.
Yeah, especially with the political climate of the past couple of years here, and I read some of these lyrics here, and I'm going, wow. It was Blood on the Sand motivated at all by politically what our where we're at here in the U.S. of A.
Yeah, definitely, and it's gone a lot further, I think, than when I even wrote that song. I was writing that in the middle of 2015, which was just a very chaotic time, and elections were starting up, the whole campaign, and so all of that was happening, and the song's definitely angry, and wanting to see some things changed, and I think it's been along with. I'd say that one of the good things that's come out of kind of the season that we are in is it's shaking people up a bit, and I think for a lot of people, there's been a lot of good that comes out of that. People who are well-intentioned, but suddenly see this thing that I thought was no big deal, it's actually a huge deal, and I should care about that. I should try to help with that. I think that song has been a bit of an instrument for some people in the midst of all the stuff that's happening, helping ask questions. And
I'm glad you mentioned that, because my mom oftentimes will go into the fetal position because they are hardcore liberals and just, oh my God, can you believe Trump? And oh my God, and I said, look. Let's think about this long term. Let's think about some of the bigger picture. And if anything, if there's any silver lining out of any of this, it's the fact that we had a youth that was so apathetic 5 years ago. Nobody was engaged. At least in my opinion, the youth weren't engaged. And now They're all engaged. I mean, even my 16-year-old, who you wouldn't expect to be, interested in politics at all, during the whole campaign, he was super engaged.
Right.
Now, granted, he's switched hardcore from one lane to the other through the process, but at least he's
thinking.
engaged.
He's thinking and he's engaged.
So
That's cool.
the song
Blood
is
in the Sand?
Blood on the Sand.
On the Sand.
The hands of properties and their congressmen. But I've seen too much, yeah, I've had enough to raise a shout, to make it clear this has to end. There's blood on the sand, there's blood in the street, and there's a gun in my hand, oh, there might as well be an upside.
Now I'm curious the process that you guys are in right now with the release of this album, and I know you guys just got picked up with a new label with Epitaph, right?
I
mean, maybe that's an
we can
inside
edit that
thing.
out.
We'll
If it's
edit
bad.
it out.
Yeah, then if you know about it, then probably.
Yeah, I mean, and this is a label that's known for specializing, kind of in that Orange County. I mean, Epitaph,
Right. Okay,
Bad Religion and stuff, like Pennywise, I think. Pennywise, Epitaph, I think. I don't
know. They have been, I think.
Yeah. So is the plan to, go back out on the roads, continue to tour in support of To Be Everywhere is to Be Nowhere, or are you looking to go back into the studio as soon as possible? Are you maybe thinking about releasing another single here? The reason I ask that is because this song, to me, as a radio guy, sounds like an immediate first. I mean, it's a one listen. It's not overly complicated. It's not overly deep. It gets right to it. And as much as I love Black Honey and Hurricane, being a musician, because they're so interesting and compelling to me, and I don't like necessarily the 1-3-5 pop songs or straight up blues songs. I like something. I like jazz trios, right?
Sure, of course.
So I like the interest level in Hurricane and Black Honey, but this song is just so.
I don't think we'll be doing another single. I mean, it was the first song we kind of put out there, not as a radio single, but I don't know. It was definitely our thought as well, and it just didn't go that way. I mean, we had zero thought of Black Honey being a radio song, and people were hearing that. Oh yeah, this one rock. Yeah. Okay, we like it. Cool. So I mean, we're basically getting close to wrapping up this album cycle. We're going to be doing a co-headline tour with Circus Survive in November, in December, and right now we're working on writing for the next record. So hopefully that will be out next summer.
Okay, let's move on to the third cut because I don't want this review to go on for 2.5 hours, and I know, Dustin, you have other stuff to do tonight. The song is The Window. It's Thrice. I know Andy over here is a percussionist, so I'm sure he's already digging the shakers and stuff in the background, right?
Yep. That's I think one of the things that makes this record real interesting is definitely the fact that you're not just a 2/4 band. A lot of complexity in your rhythm. Did you guys have a long history of music in your lives? I mean, help us understand kind of the fact that you're different than half the other bands out there making rock and roll records.
Yeah, we like playing in different time signatures. So a lot of that songs in like a 7/4 or 7/8. I don't know. We're more experientially taught than any kind of official learning. But we would pick up different things from like listening to like a hardcore band like Botch or something that's super mathy, and what Botch especially did really well was they were mathy, but the math was always had like a groove. It didn't feel like prog math where it was just kind of like equations,
Dream Theater
guitar, and it always grew, but they used the different timing to make it hit harder and make it hit differently. And so we really tried to pick that up and do different things with it. So from pretty early on, we've been messing around with stuff like that. And whenever we're doing it, we're trying to do it with a purpose. And so in this song, it actually really gives a lot of the push to those verses. You have a 7, it almost feels like an 8 that's cutting off early, because that's kind of what it is. And so it keeps pushing the song ahead, and then when you drop into the 8 in the chorus, it kind of opens up and lays back. So
it's smart.
By the way, what does your shirt say?
It's a Troy Love in Her Arms shirt, so it's people need other people.
At first I thought it was like a Burning Man thing. People need bikes on the playa.
Have you ever been to Burning Man?
I have not.
It doesn't look like a lot of interest to even go. Maybe not.
I share that lack of interest.
Yeah, it's an interesting party. All right, let's move right along to cut number 5 and Wake Up from Thrice. And I screwed that up. It's 4, not 5. 4. Brian will get it. Got 4. Man, I love that deep groove.
Just a little sleep, a little slumber, little folding of the hands to rest. It's what we tell ourselves, but we know we're gonna just lay here till the sun's gone west. But there are foxes in the garden, and there's an old man at the door. And the wind is right, and the sky's so favor when the heat has died.
It's almost a scary song, you know? You think about, the foxes in the bushes and the armed man at the front door. Tell me where your head was at when you were writing Wake Up.
It's just pulling some images, metaphors, and building this sense of trying to create an urgency. It's essentially a song about procrastination, but
we know that all too well.
I struggle with, but the vibe of it, the kind of bluesy vibe. We dig a lot of different kinds of music, but I feel like when I listen to it, I hear a lot of influence from a band called The Color Revolt, which they're fantastic.
The Color Revolt. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah. I think it's really COLOUR, Revolt, but they're just crazy awesome. And their first EP, all their stuff's great, but the first EP is just kind of sprinkled with magic dust or something. I don't know. There's something cool about it. The first 3 songs of that are just amazing. So,
what's your favorite environment to listen to music in? I mean, what's your favorite headspace?
In my car. I don't know. It's like I'm used to the speakers and I'm driving, so I can have it loud.
And your wife is she a rock fan, or what? I mean, what's your guilty pleasure musical style when you're just hanging out at home?
I have no guilt about listening to anything, but I love good pop music, and so we'll listen to that with our girls sometimes. Or
Justin Bieber, thumbs up, thumbs down.
It depends on the song. I mean,
He's a talented musician. That's what I've been trying to say all along. Is he's
there's some really good songs.
Yeah.
He could be talented and an idiot at the same time.
This guy. All right, let's move right along. The Long Defeat, cut number 5. It's Thrice.
Tyranny of deterioration worries me that it's all just a waste of time. Taking one step forward, 2 steps back. Still, I believe there's a thread through the thorns, and I believe the summer's warm, and I believe that it's ever bright beyond this flash. You keep holding on to hope without answer. It's holding on to a memory of light. But will the morning come? And all I know, we'll never see the sun, but together we'll fight the long defeat.
Wow. Yeah, you know, I hear some pop sensibility coming out of there just as far as the melody line is concerned. Maybe a little more complicated than typical pop songs. Let me ask you, Dustin, how much has doing just a solo acoustic thing helped or hurt, you know, your what you're doing in Thrice, or Never the Two Shall Meet? Has it helped you refine your vocal stylings in Thrice?
I don't know, that's hard to say. I think doing it is, putting in more time there and stuff has made me a better singer in general. But I think part of that's just that I've gotten better over time, especially recording, figuring out what I need to be comfortable in the studio, and it's just such a different thing to sing to record than it is live. And it took me a while to figure that out, and I started figuring out when we recorded the Alchemy Index, because I was recording the Tepe in the band, and so there was no pressure. It was just like, oh, it's just Tepe, it's my bro, and so I felt like I could actually try to sing in a way that I felt was warranted in that song, rather than just like, hey, hit the note and move on. And so I've worked with some other people since then that have been really great, and Eric, the producer on the record, was fantastic. I think it's the best my vocals have sounded. So
I completely agree. I mean, again, listening to some of the older stuff, you're obviously a strong vocalist, but do you often get compared to any of the other contemporary vocalists out there right now?
Not to my knowledge. I don't.
So no one's just come out and said it.
Who would you compare it to?
I would say just as far as the almost smoky warmness of it, almost like the dude from Kings of Leon a little bit.
Okay, there you go.
I'm in love with the Highly Suspect. He's not quite as warm and smoky, I think, as you, Dustin. Okay.
Yeah, but who just covered Black Honey? It was Sean from
Smile Empty Soul?
No. We just did
Sean?
Sean, is it Sean? We did a review. Is that his name?
Oh,
the singer. Who just
Kyle from Beware of Darkness?
No. Who just covered Black Honey?
Seether.
Okay.
Seether.
Yeah.
Seether.
Sean Morgan.
Yeah, Sean. Okay. Hello. I remembered. He's a radio guy, bro. I'm not.
That's true.
Right?
That's true. And Andy makes real money. I like to say he's had a real job for the past 3 decades, and I haven't done shit. So
I don't think that's true.
There you go. By the way, the next cut on here is just kind of a 1-minute interlude, and for the sake of time, we're going to go right on to the song that introduced me to this record. First of all, because I saw this creepy-ass video where the kid's eyes kept turning white, and it scared the hell out of me, having kids myself. And I went, man, is that what my kid was thinking when I was trying to, lecture him or tell him the ways of the world, or what?
My eyes roll back sometimes when you talk.
Does this song come from a personal perspective, Dustin, of you raising your children, or what?
No, the video has almost nothing to do with the song. Our friend wrote it, the treatment, and it was the only treatment that we got that wasn't like
Lame.
really goth and like bees were all over, and we're just like, okay, this is totally different and seems interesting, so we went with that. But it's been interesting watching people try to tie things together. Sure, I don't know.
Okay.
No, it's funny. The song was actually super politically kind of motivated from me when I was initially writing it, and then I don't think about it that way at all. I think it still applies that way, but it's become much more personal to me, and generally has been taken that way by most people. So it's interesting how songs have a life of their own, and how your interaction with them as time goes on changes. Sometimes it gets better. Sometimes you're like, all right, I can't do that song, whatever. But this one's it's marinated nicely.
Yeah, I love, and I got to ask, are you a big reader at all?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you familiar with the Tao of Pooh?
No.
Okay. Well, I think Pooh and the Tao of Pooh. You
Tao of Pooh. Okay. I see.
Yeah.
I've heard of that.
Okay. It's fascinating. It's interesting. Maybe you'll get a song inspiration. It's Black Honey from Thrice. Oh, by the way, what is that instrument that you're playing right there?
It's just a guitar that we've got some
crazy effects on.
What's crazy is we just heard randomly at our bassist heard this 60s Egyptian record and like heard some different song. I went home and started listening to it. And the second song, I guess, all of a sudden it sounds just like that, and it's playing very close to the same thing. It was just some weird channeling. I don't know what's on the 60s Egyptian record either, but it sounds kind of like that.
I got a buddy who owns a sitar, and I've sat down to try and play a sitar a time or two. It's a son of a bitch, man. It's weird. It's a weird instrument. Love that song.
That's a great song.
Thank you.
It reminds me of my age of acquisition when I finally got the job that took me from getting paid from like $45,000 a year to up into the 80s. I went, oh, this is going to be the savior of all my problems, and I had a few very knowledgeable older friends who said, dude,
more problems, more
big. It just means bigger bills, bigger toys, bigger bills.
Absolutely.
And sure as shit, all of a sudden I felt like the guy in that commercial who was outside mowing his lawn saying, "Good morning, Jenny, and I've got the perfect life, and I'm buried in bills up to my eyeballs, and how am I going to get out?"
Pretty much.
Any similarity between what you were thinking with Black Honey to the age of acquisition?
Initially it was kind of like a metaphor for American foreign policy and just the way that we kind of keep doing the same things and hoping for different results. And
definition of insanity,
of course.
Yeah. And then, it really kind of zooms out to that's the way we all operate about a lot of different things. So,
all right, moving right along, it's Thrice and the song "Stay With Me." It's cut number 8. There was going to be a lighter song. This would be it, with the lighters in the air and get the whole crowd to swing back and forth. It's a couple's dance at the skate ranch.
Felt like embers of the world's dying. as I carried you quietly through the crumbling streets. And in the fading light, I could see in your eyes that somehow we were meant to meet. Would you stay with me if you thought the war was over and everything made right? Would you still believe in us? Would your love for me grow colder? No one left to fight. Would you stay with me?
Yeah, great song. Again,
That is-
another song that should be a single, right?
Well, and probably as much a ballad that we're going to find, in your music and an album right now. Do you consciously choose these? I mean, when you're writing this, what's the inspiration for the song?
As far as the kind of the vibe of it,
Mm-hmm.
that one started, I think, with that little arpeggio in the verse. I played it at one point and I was playing with a new pedal. We just had this cool tone to it. I gotta make a song out of that, and so I think it just builds out of that. And then lyrically, it's kind of an ode to a Josh Ritter song. I'm a big Josh Ritter fan. I think he's one of the best songwriters alive, storytellers. But he has a song called "The Temptation of Adam." It's fantastic. So it's a bit of a similar idea where it's an apocalyptic kind of situation, and someone's wondering, like, people find each other in the middle of that, and then are worried, like, if things actually get better, if we don't have this crisis science together, like, are you still going to stick around?
Sure, that's common, right?
The song is much better.
Crisis brings people together, right? And so, that makes perfect sense.
They've been talking about that over the last couple of weeks between Houston and Florida. How the Good Samaritans and how it's weird
Sure.
that crisis all of a sudden brings the country together. You've mentioned a couple of other artists. If you could collaborate with somebody, dead or alive, you got a week to sit down and write a song together. Who might that be?
Tom Waits.
Tom Waits.
Tom Waits.
Okay. Wow.
Nice.
Yeah. That's some pretty fine pedigree right there.
Shit, yeah.
All right, let's move right along. Death from Above. Are you pissed that band came out with a band name Death from Above? Or are they friends of yours?
They've been around. No, it just seemed like the right name for the song. So,
Okay.
but we did a really stupid joke. This is our kind of dumb humor, but we had to cover a song on Octane, like their for their, I don't know, for something they put it online. But so we played Death from Above acoustic, and then we covered Smashing Pumpkins 1979 because the band's name is Death from Above 1979. I didn't say anything about it. Just to do it.
That's awesome.
No good reason. And that's really good Smashing Pumpkins. So.
All right, check it out.
I always thought that there was something different setting us apart. That I was led by men with sober minds and sympathetic hearts. Swore an oath, but never knew just what it was to take a life. Played God across such distances. From so great a height, but I am never sure who I am killing. How many innocents were in the building? I drove death out of love.
I wonder how many soldiers feel that way.
That is heavy. Really?
Yeah, I mean, the song is built or inspired by, kind of built from both researching a lot about drone warfare and then also kind of taking aspects from the actual stories of various drone pilots who've spoken out against the way that the program is being run and their own experiences. So whenever I write a song, especially that is something kind of heavy, and I do a lot of research trying to get to the bottom of stuff, get some different perspectives, and yeah.
Now, when you guys are writing songs as a band, do you hash out musical ideas all together in a room, or are you the primary songwriter and you come with the idea and you say, here's what you should be playing on the bass, here's how the drums should come in, and do it like that? Is it collaborative, or are you like the ringleader?
It's very, very collaborative. So it's terribly frustrating sometimes, but very exciting and fulfilling at other times. So there's these moments where you're just like, oh yeah, everything's just coming together and it's great, and then moments where you're just arguing about this one little stupid part for like weeks. So it's great. It makes us who we are musically, but I generally come afterwards with the lyrics and start. I basically try to figure out what kind of stories the song already telling, and then see what things that are floating around my head kind of tell a similar arc, and how I can work those together. And then I'll fudge both of them to make it fit together. But
okay, and it sounds like a cohesive unit. We were talking to Kyle from Beware of Darkness, and you could tell that a lot of the songs sounded like 2 or 3 songs in one, and it's not that there's anything wrong with having one architect, one conductor, one Beethoven.
Sure.
Putting it all together and then giving it to the orchestra, but it's something different when everybody comes in a room. And
of course. Well, he talked about taking 2 or 3 songs and blending them together to make one.
Yeah. So.
Parts of this and parts of that, which, doesn't probably work for everybody.
Well, it's like being in a 5-way marriage. If you're in a 5-way band, it's difficult sometimes. All right. Whistleblower.
In Utah.
Cut number 10. No, it doesn't. I can tell you from experience. A lot of whistleblowers out there today, I think,
Whistleblowers.
All right, so let's wrap up the album here. Salt and Shadow. An interesting name for a song. Why Salt and Shadow?
The song itself is it's most closely tied with the record title, which is a quote from a philosopher named Seneca the Younger, and we're kind of grabbing it and applying it to just the age that we live in terms of how many distractions we have, how hard it is to stay present. And this song is really dealing with that, and kind of going through, a couple of different ways, that it's hard to be present, whether it's because we're distracted, or because it's painful, or because we're scared. And so the chorus is saying, you're here, but it's clear, you're just salt and shadow. This idea of kind of salt, like a physical kind of sense, you're physically here, or there's a shadow of you here. There's some evidence that you're here, but you're not actually fully present.
Salt and Shadow, it's Thrice. Check it out. Careful with your knee, Andy. You're going to make the CD player skip. So you're tapping his knee again.
Sorry. Can't help it.
On the edge of a night, it's like you're living your life on the stage. You're talking through glass with just square photographs on a page. Oh, we're never alone, but we're each in our own little cage. You're here, but it's still you're just soft and shiny.
I love the vocal layering there and how kind of spacey and ethereal all that is. How many overlays, vocal, overlays are going on there? Do you recall?
A lot.
A lot.
I don't remember how many. Kind of just got more than we probably needed just to have for mixing. That chorus is really influenced by it's a gorgeous song by the Low Anthem called it's called Charlie Darwin. The record's called Charlie Darwin. The song I think is just called Charlie Darwin. But it's beautiful and haunting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Haunting, that's a good word
Haunting
for it.
is a great word for
You know,
that.
you mentioned philosophers earlier. We were just turned on to a philosopher recently. You may be familiar with him. Alan Watts, do you know who he is?
I heard that name, but I don't know if it's in a philosophy
Okay.
context.
Alan Watts. I'll
wow, yeah.
I'll send Brett Greenberg Alan Watts' info, or I'll just text it to you after this on the Skype thing.
I have the internet at my disposal, so.
There
Yeah,
you
yeah.
go.
Well, we all have it, right? Google
Dustin
it.
Kensrue, I sincerely appreciate it. This is one of my
Thank you very much.
favorite, interesting, darkest, deepest, coolest fucking records to come out in the last year. Excuse the language, but I really love the record. So congratulations, and I hope that this that before the entire cycle is wrapped up, we'll have a chance to see you actually out and performing. Are you doing Aftershock? Do you know? There's so many bands on that
Come on,
bill.
do it.
What city are you guys in?
Aftershock is up in
Sacramento, next
Sacramento. October, yeah.
Next month,
We're
October.
playing- We're not playing Aftershock. We're playing San Jose, though. That's
Okay.
the first day on that.
When?
That run. November 1st, I think.
Sweet.
No,
My
November
birthday's on
2nd.
the 3rd.
We might see you there.
Okay.
Or somewhere
Look
closer
for
to
us.
Tahoe.
We'll wear these shirts and we'll just wave from the crowd.
Will be easy to spot, man. Again,
Thank you.
I appreciate
Dustin.
your time. It's Dustin from Thrice. By the way, just got note that on an upcoming Two Dudes Reviews, we'll be talking with Fozzy.
Fozzy, cool.
And not the bear from the Muppets either,
No?
like the
Shit.
the wrestler guy. His name's not Fozzy, but the band is. Anyhow, we're Two Dudes Reviews.
Thanks, Dustin.
Well, thank you, guys.